To better understand how artificial selection helps us understand evolution, let's first take a look at what it really is. In the 1800s, a monk by the name of Gregor Mendel began to selectively breed pea plants. He kept track of 7 traits and then began to notice some patterns which were against common belief at the time. They thought through the generations traits would mix together. They called this the blending theory. But Mendel's experiments proved this wrong. Here's what he came up with. But to better understand this chart, you'll need to know what Punnett square is. So you can see you have 2 parents, BB and BB. Capital B is a dominant trait, and lowercase b is a recessive trait. So a dominant trait will overpower a recessive trait, but a recessive trait will stay safely hidden and can always pop out when bred without a dominant gene. This is important to remember because with the survival of the fittest, you have the power to completely wipe out a trait if they die off before breeding. As you can see, there are 2 offsprings with only dominant or recessive traits. These are referred to as true breeds. They also have 2 offsprings with dominant and recessive traits. Notice how they still have brown eyes? This is because they carry the dominant trait. So like their parents, they will always have a chance to have blue-colored offsprings because the recessive is dormant within them. Now to make things a little more complicated, you'll need to understand some vocabulary. Homozygous is when you only carry 1 trait. Heterozygous is when you have both. And the letters actually represent something called allele. So now we understand Punnett squares. It is time to understand evolution. So, as you notice how generations can differ in traits, it should be easy to see if G would have a long stem and Y would have a short stem, all the Y traits would die off if they weren't tall enough to get light. Therefore, evolution is set in motion through survival of the fittest.